Hi, this is Dominic from Paphos Life, and in today's film we're driving from Paphos Harbour all the way up to Caria Beach in Koval Bay. So looking at the map, we start and we head up to the Kings Avenue Mall, and from there Vardis Beach, and then we go up through Kisonaga, past CU Beach Bar, all the way to Koval Bay Strip, and from there we drive down Koval Bay Beach and we finish at Caria Beach, which is next to it. Now there are actually going to be three versions of this film. The first was a 360 one, which I've already published, and the second one will be a flat fixed view version of the 360 film, and the third one will be the regular GoPro film that I do. Now, whether you're watching the second one or the third one film, you'll find out in a minute, because they both have the same soundtrack. But the advantage about using the flat 360 version is that during the course of the film I'm able to change the camera angle. And if you're on the second version, you should see me looking down the seafront as I'm speaking now. And then the camera's going to pan round back to straight ahead again. Now on the GoPro version, that sort of technology isn't possible. However, the GoPro version has a better camera. So depending on which picture looks better will determine which film you prefer. Now in the past, it was quite noticeably better because the 360 camera wasn't anywhere near as good quality for fixed view as the GoPro was. But this is the latest version of the 360 camera, so it should be not quite the same standard, but it's getting there. And the question is that acceptable enough to you, the discerning viewer? And I don't care either way. I mean, I'm happy to make the films either way. I would be interested to hear though which ones you actually prefer. So for instance, if you're using if you're seeing the 360 flat version, you should be panning slightly to see the upcoming catacombs and that funny little tree that has all the ribbons tied to it. And also with the flat version, you can spin the camera completely around so you can have a brief view of what's happening behind you. I guess a lot will depend on what you're viewing this on. If you're viewing it on a TV, then the GoPro footage might be more of a requirement because the resolution, even though it is 4K, it's like 4K in inverted commas, so to speak, on the flat version. But we're just driving past Kings Avenue Mall now, and we're on the main coast road. And every time I go down here, I'm hoping that I can have a complete clean drive-through without any traffic lights. Without any traffic lights being red, I should add. Because obviously there are still traffic lights. However, I seem to recall that my dream was shattered fairly early on in this film. Which is okay. I mean, it gives me more time to concentrate on the actual film itself and driving sensibly. Yep, so there you have it once again, a shattered dream. But I'll pick myself up and I'll continue anyway. On the left you've got turning for Lighthouse Beach, and on the right is the new bus station, which still settling in. People are still wondering whether you'll ever be able to drive from Paphos Harbour to Koval Bay without changing again. I'm not sure what the latest on that is, to be honest. I think a second traffic light stop was merely adding insult to injury. There's Duomo on the left, and that road goes down to the Elysium, and Kephalos, or Kelephos, I can never remember which, holiday resort, which is very popular. And it's also another way of getting to Lighthouse Beach. And this is the Tomb of the Kings roundabout we're approaching now. Seem to recall it was $2.50 to get into the Tomb of the Kings, which is absurdly good value for money when you consider how much anything in the UK costs. I think it's $4.50 to get in to the archaeological park, and that's the most expensive I think I've paid for any of the municipal exhibits, which is phenomenally good value for money. Right, here on the left we got Venus Beach, and beyond that is Venus Beach Hotel, and beyond that is Venus Beach. That you don't go there to park though, though you might do now. It looked like they'd reopened that bit, but I haven't checked that out. I do know that I've always gone in from this road here, turn down there, and then take the first left, and that takes you to the Venus Beach car park down quite a bumpy bit of road, but it's worth it. Now we're coming to the end of the dual carriageway. And there's the gateway to Paphos, one of the, is it 10? I think there are 12 actually, I can't remember. They were put up on in 2017 during when Paphos was cultural capital of Europe. Which signifies also that we're now in Cloaca. And on the right, there's a tiny remnant of what used to be an aqueduct running in Paphos. Nowhere near, by a factor of several hundred, to the one they got in Ayia Napa, the aqueduct there. There's literally just a few rocks there now, that one. There's the King Evelfon Hotel on the left. And on the right there was a very tiny necropolis that I really wouldn't bother exploring unless you are a dedicated fan of old ruins. Considering how many more things there are to see here. And remember, if you like our content, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel, as it really does help YouTube promote us. And if you want to help us financially, then go to our paphoslife.com/coffee page, and you can either send us a coffee or click on one of the affiliate links. Now soon we'll be turning to, well no, we won't be turning, we'll be coming to the turning for Vardis Beach. It's a good petrol station, that one there is, by the way. And if you want to see the second wreck in Paphos, that's the turning there. That's where you'd go to. I mean, you can't get up close and personal to it like on the Edro 3 wreck, but it's a nice little area, especially if you've got sort of like sandwiches or something and you want a quiet place to have your lunch. I mean, you do occasionally see swimmers there, but it's mainly a place where you'll find fishermen. It's an interesting old bus that's been turned into a coffee shop we just passed on the left. And now on the left you have St George's Chapel and St George's Hotel, and of course St George's Beach. All very nice places to visit or get married in, depending on what your requirements are. There's a splash resort there. Once I've worked out the format I want to use, I'm going to do a definitive guide to this route like I did for the hotel strip, which will have links to everything that you see as we drive past. I'll also go down all the side roads. I'll probably have to split it into 2 or 3 films because of the size of the journey. But it's definitely worth it because I know this is a very well used and popular route. It does make you think that how it'd all be affected if they do ever build the bloody marina that they keep talking about past the CU Beach Bar. Right, up here on the left, if you follow the Cloaca Coast Path, or Cloaca, that's as far as you get. It stops there. Now, in a forthcoming walking film, I'm going to be starting from there, the coastal part of it, which is all the rocky bit, and seeing if I can go via Sandy Bay, which is on the left now, up to Kisonaga. So that would make it possible effectively to walk from Paphos all the way to CU Beach Bar and from there Koval Bay without having to walk along this road. I don't know if it's possible though. It's quite a barren terrain on the left, but beyond that there are various villas being built, but I'm not sure what that's done for access to the actual coast, and in order to have a coast path you need access to the coast, or at least you need not to have to walk along this road. And now we're coming up to Kisonaga itself. And if you go down the road at the top of the hill on the left, it will take you to the Kisonaga Coast Path, which is a lovely place to go for a walk. They've really done a good job of that. I mean, to be honest, all the renovated parks are great. All the, not parks, paths are great. But yeah, go down there, and there's a parking place, and you can park your car and go for a walk along the Kisonaga Coast Path, and then walk back again because it's linear. Now, a couple of times a year there is usually a nice market in that little shopping area, art and craft sort of stuff. I have to say though, markets during the middle of summer are quite hot in terms of what the weather's like. And my wife has a stall occasionally, and she went to the last one in Payer, and the poor thing, I had to bring extra bottles of water for her and the lady next to her. Now we're going down the hill towards the CU Beach Bar, and if you're using the flat version, you'll see, excuse me, I was able to pan around to have a look at the cliffs they've got there, which I've always found quite fascinating. Got hit by another traffic light there. Mind you, that's fairly bog standard to hit those lights red. It's one of the bottlenecks on the road. Right, so now we're in Potimer Bay, and on the left you've got the CU Beach Bar. You've got the flat version, you'll get a better view of that. Of course, you could also just look at the 360 version, but the advantage the flat version has over the 360 version is that it's a much smaller file, and so you get much less bandwidth, so you're much more likely to be able to watch it at decent resolution. What I'll probably do is publish the GoPro version first, and then the next day I'll publish the flat version, and I'll ask you to say which one you prefer. I mean, to be frank, the flat version's a bit of a pain when it's a long film like this one, because you have to watch the entire film several times in order to get the camera rotation done right. So it's not as if it's more convenient for me, it's just more like producing a film that people would rather see. I mean, there is also the option of merging the two films so that it's the GoPro by default, but when there's something particularly interesting, I can switch to the 360 flat view to show you it in more detail, if not resolution. So basically all I'm saying is just let me know in the comments which you prefer or what you want, or indeed if you're not bothered either way. What I won't do after this one though is produce 3 versions of the same film, because that would just be silly. I've only done this so that you can see what the difference is. And the only reason I'm going into such detail at the moment is because this is a long stretch of road and there's not a lot to say about it. Ooh, I was wrong. There's the turning for the Corsos. And on the left now you have, that's the Theia Park, which is now complete, I believe. So a little pan round if you're on the flat version. And now we're going down the Koval Bay Strip. And bollard fans will be interested to note that there are still a few of the temporary bollards, but they're only a very small amount now, and they seem to be around Licanto's restaurant area. Whether that's a coincidence or they're not bothering to put them in until that renovation is finished, which would make sense because they could get knocked, etc. I don't know, but that's just an observation I made. I have to say that now that the dust has blown away, the road's looking a lot more, less white basically, because some people were moaning about it was all white or grey. And when it's had a few good rainstorms, it's going to look a lot nicer. But the strip looks so much nicer than it used to. I'll have to do another walking tour up there again soon. But yeah, so there's Licanto, obviously still working on there, and if you look just in that period there, they got the old bollards still. But it's only that tiny bit, everywhere else new bollards. And they've also got really obvious zebra crossings now. Look at that. And then we have Caria Resort and Spa, which is now open. And that's been for a few weeks now. I'd imagine there's not a lot they can do to the landscaping at the moment because of the time of year it's in, but the hotel itself looks absolutely lovely. And pool looks great as well. I'll do a drone of the strip and around the hotel at some point in the future. Now we're coming down Koval Bay Road to Koval Bay Beach itself. And somewhere like this is where the flat version comes in really handy, because you can basically get a decent view of the beach. I love tourist cars. It's funny, I remember for years when we were coming here on holidays, one year because we always used to rent a decent 4x4, and one year we lost the number plate over the Karma somewhere, and we didn't notice for a few days, but we couldn't understand why all of a sudden people were letting us out of side roads and things like that, because they didn't realise we were in a rental car and they were being a lot nicer to us. But this is Koval Bay Beach. There's plenty of room if you don't want to hire a sunbed. There's plenty of beach there for you too. And there's two parts of it, each with their own lifeguard stations and restaurants and toilet facilities. And there was a car coming down here, but nice of them, they reversed for us. Again, it's coming up here. The flat version, 360 flat version, does work a lot better because you get to see the whole beach. Right, so that was Koval Bay Beach, and in the last leg we'll be driving to Caria Beach and finishing, obviously. After various straw polls, more people who watch this channel seem to prefer Caria Beach to Koval Bay Beach. So if you only got one day, that's the one to head to. However, if you're here and you're going to be in Koval Bay all week, you should definitely go to both of them and make up your own mind, because they're both lovely anyway. It really is apples and oranges you're comparing. Sounds like I'm about to be invaded at home. My wife just arrived in the car. Hopefully I'll be able to get to the end of this without it interrupting the course of the film. So we've just driven through the rest of Koval Bay. And we're going into Caria Beach car park, which is huge. And that bus is just leaving, because this is where the bus, I think it's the 615 from Paphos, actually terminates. And we're going to drive as far as we can. Normally it'd be early in the day and there'd be a space available, but there wasn't here, so we'll have to stop here. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next film.